Namaskar friends. So today we are going to start our discussion on a very important topic, that is manufacturing guidelines for product design. Friends, the basic ideology, the basic concept before starting this course is that although we study independent courses such as the manufacturing courses like basic manufacturing processes, theory of production processes, machining science, welding, so we learn about the various processes in our UG curriculum. Similarly, we take certain industrial engineering courses, for example production planning and control, operations management, method and time study, industrial management, value engineering. So friends, we take independent courses in which we learn about the hard aspects of production engineering and the soft aspects of industrial engineering. But usually in actual practice, when we want to practice engineering, when we want to develop product, a combined knowledge which must complement each other. So we must be good in manufacturing or manufacturing subjects where we have studied the conversion processes from raw material to the final products such as casting, maybe welding, machining, joining. So we may have learned different types of manufacturing processes. On the other hand, we know about product design, we know about method and time study, but when we have to combine the two together, there is no interface between the hard aspects and the soft aspects of production engineering, and therefore we have conceptualized this course. So the basic theory behind this course is that we want to complement the information that has been developed independently as separate stream of courses. So therefore, as you all know, the title of the course is Manufacturing Guidelines for Product Design. So we must know the two things. One are the manufacturing guidelines and on the other side we have the product design. So in today's session, our target is to just revise what we have covered in product design. All the undergraduate colleges or all the engineering institutes across the country focus on product design as one of the chapters in one of the courses. So we usually teach it in production planning and control. So we have one chapter on product design and development, but basically we will revise today, we will try to summarize the product design and development into one important session, that is the introductory session for this course. Then we will focus our attention in the next week on revising the concepts of manufacturing, trying to learn the process capability of the most important manufacturing processes. It will be a kind of revision, a very concise revision, brief revision of almost the courses that you have studied in engineering. After going through the manufacturing maybe for 2.5 weeks, 2.5 hours, sorry, for 1 week we will focus on manufacturing, then on 1 week we will focus on materials. Why? Because when we are designing a product, we will be required to have information related to design, information related to manufacturing, information related to materials, and then only we can ensure quality of the product. So that is what we are going to focus on in the third week of our discussion, sorry, the second week of our discussion. We will focus, maybe today we will start with product design basics, then maybe in the next sessions our focus will be on manufacturing, after that our focus will be on materials, and then once we have made or revised our basics related to manufacturing, related to materials, we know that this particular set of material can be processed by this particular set of manufacturing processes, or for this family of materials a particular family of manufacturing processes is applicable. Understanding the process capabilities of the various processes, understanding the physical, chemical, mechanical properties of the engineering materials, we will try to move forward and try to frame or understand or discuss or concretize the various guidelines for the various manufacturing processes. We will focus on sand casting, die casting, injection molding, compression molding. Then we will focus also on machining. We will focus on the various joining strategies such as welding, riveting, fastening using the screw fasteners, adhesive joining, microwave joining. So our target will be to understand the guidelines that must be kept in mind when we are designing a product. So while designing the product, sometimes we are not able to give due emphasis to the manufacturing processes that are going to be used for manufacturing the product, and that leads to an iterative type of design. We make a design, we pass it on to the next stage, to the manufacturing shop floor, and from there sometimes the product is sent back as a for modification as a faulty design. Why? Because the infrastructural facilities that we have, the facilities that are required to produce the kind of specifications that we have put forward in our design are not available on the shop floor, and therefore we need to revise our design, we need to revisit our design, we need to modify our design, we need to update our design in order to have a mapping with the kind of infrastructural support in the form of manufacturing facilities that we have. So therefore, in order to avoid this kind of iterative or iterations in the design, it is always better that we keep in mind or we take into account the various guidelines that do exist in literature. Many a times I have observed the learners are not aware about the kind of guidelines that are available, which have been documented. Very good books have been written, they are available in our course of discussion. You will see I will share references of very good books in which certain set of tables are available, certain set of principles are available, guidelines are available, which can be used by the designers when they are designing a product in order to avoid the various throwbacks or iterations in the product design due to non-compliance of the manufacturing regarding the specifications which have been set by the product designer. So when they are non-compliant, automatically the product design needs to be modified or updated. So with this background, basically we can start the today's session because this is a 20-hour course. We have to finish the discussion of all the processes whatever we can do. Then we have to further learn certain advanced topics like design for environment and rapid prototyping. So therefore, the time taking into account the time constraint, I will not stretch the discussion too forward or too much in introducing the course. I will directly start the course maybe with the product design basics. So basically we need to understand the two terms, the manufacturing guidelines and the product design. Let us try to understand product design today. In our subsequent lectures in this week, our focus will be on manufacturing. We will try to classify the manufacturing processes, we will try to find out the process capability for the manufacturing process, we will try to find the advantages and limitations of the processes, we will try to look at the applications of the various important manufacturing processes, followed by discussion on engineering materials and followed by discussion on the important aspects that must be taken into account while designing the products. But most importantly, our focus will be on manufacturing processes, that what are the standard guidelines that must be taken into account when the product designers are making the specifications for manufacturing a particular product. So what basically we can call a product design. So what is a product design concept? So we can see the product design concept on your screen. The product design is conceptualization of an idea about a product and transformation of the idea into the reality. So we can break down this sentence into two broad parts. So product design is conceptualization of an idea. So we must have an idea, and then that idea needs to be converted into a tangible product. So about the idea must be about a product, and the product will definitely satisfy the need or requirement which do exist. So the need and requirement may be an industrial need or and a requirement, or it may be customer based, or it may be a societal need or requirement. So basically the product is going to satisfy a need or requirement. So basically we need to conceptualize the idea to satisfy the needs and requirements in the form of a product, and this idea has to be then transformed into the reality, and the reality will lead us to the product. So we need to generate lots and lots of ideas, because many of the ideas do not pass the test of screening. So the ideas are screened at various levels using the technical competence, the financial viability of the idea, the environmental viability of the idea. So at different level the ideas are scrutinized, they are screened, and very few ideas finally lead to the product. So we must be very liberal in generation of ideas, and we must have large number of ideas, and then only we will be able to produce maybe a few final products. So to transform the idea into reality, so in order to do, now this is related to the first sentence is related to the concept, that what basically product design is all about, and this is related to the process. Now how to convert, to transform the idea into reality, a specification about the product is prepared. So we must prepare the specifications, which may be the initially the specifications can be broad specification, and finally we go to the detailed specifications. So maybe we can try to understand this with an example of a four-wheeler car. So basically in the initial stage, the conceptualization of an idea, we can conceptualize that there must be a source of transport which must be able to transport goods as well as the passengers from one place to another place. So that is basically an idea. Now how this idea can be converted into a tangible product or into reality, for that we need to do the further analysis. We need to find out that how, what type of mode of transport or what type of source we must develop which is able to transport goods as well as passengers from one place to another place. So that is one idea which we need to transform into a reality, and for that we need the specifications. Now specifications can be that when we are specifying a family, which means that it must be able to transport 4 to 6 people at a time. It must be a four-wheeler or a three-wheeler. It must be run on diesel or petrol. So those are the broad specifications that are developed in order to convert our idea into a tangible product, and the final product can be a car which all of us are using these days. So to transform the idea into reality, a specification about the product is prepared. This specification is prepared by considering different constraints such as production process. Now we can see when we make the detailed design, we have to give due importance to the production process that is going to be used for converting our idea into reality, and that is the most important point of our course. Why? Because we are going to focus on the various manufacturing processes and what are the associated guidelines that must be taken into account by the designer when he or she is designing a particular product. And we are not only going to focus on the processes that are going to be used for processing or production of metallic components. Our target will be to focus on processes that can be used for production or fabrication of plastic components. We will be focusing on joining of parts also. We will be focusing on machining of parts also. So there is going to be a wide variety of processes that we are going to cover in our discussion in this course. So this specification is prepared by considering different constraints such as production process, customer expectation, as I have already highlighted here. The needs and requirements will be generated from the customer expectation, and there are number of other parameters that need to be taken into account when we are making the detailed specifications of our product. So that is the basic idea about product design. Now in product design stage, all aspects of product are analyzed. Now we will see what are the various aspects. So these can be the marketing aspects. We are going to come to this towards the end of today's session, and these can be the economic aspects, and already we have seen in the previous point the production aspects we have to take into account. Final decision regarding the product is taken on the basis of the analysis. So whatever we analyze these ideas, based on that the final decision about the product is taken, because we consider the economic aspects, we consider the production aspects, we consider the product characteristics, functional aspects, operational durability aspects. So considering all these aspects, a final product specification is laid out, or the final decision about the product is taken. This decision can be any aspect related to the product, for example the dimensions and tolerances, type of material for each component, the type of assembly operation that we are going to use. So this detailed specification can lead to, or this type of finalization of the values for all these parameters which are mentioned here. Now product development process, this diagram again we will come to during the course of our session. We will try to understand it in a much more clearer manner in the course of our discussion. So basically for product development process, we can see first is we undertake the planning, then concept development, then the system level design, the overall detailed design, then already I have told detailed design, then testing and refinement, and finally the production ramp up. So basically we have to decide on the product architecture also, and that we will cover in our 8th week of discussion, when we have learnt about all the processes that are used or that can be used for making the product, and what are the various guidelines that we must take care. So here we can see that initial stage only the product architecture plays a very important role, that in how many modules we must produce our product, how the modules can be classified, all that will be covered in product architecture. We will see, try to take an example and try to understand that when we look at a product, it can be divided into the various modules, and how the modules can be classified or how the modules can be made, maybe based on the geometric layouts or based on the commonality in the functions. So we will divide the product into different modules, and then these modules will make up the complete product. So this gives us an overall summary of the process from planning to concept development to detailed design to testing and refinement to final production. Now what are the various steps involved? Quickly we can go through. We have already recorded a course which is a 10-hour course on product design and development, and which has been run successfully for 2 consecutive semesters. Maybe in the coming semester or next to next semester the course may again be offered for learners who are really interested to have a just a brief review of the product design process and the various tools and techniques that must be used during the product design process can register for that course and get benefited. So here in the we are just going to summarize the product design steps. So we can see synthesis, which means try to develop the different alternatives. So as I have already told, lot of ideas or alternatives must be there, because we have to further do the screening out based on various criteria, and finally we must be able to come up with a idea which can be converted into a tangible product, or which has the potential to be commercially converted into a final product. So first thing is synthesis. We can have large number of alternatives there. Then sketching, draw sketches in exact scale for different alternatives. Analysis, we can say analyze different alternatives with respect to operability. We will see operational aspects, maintainability, inspection, assembling and dismantling issues, cost parameters, production methods. Again the production methods are coming here, assembling is again coming here. So these are the 2 aspects with which we have designed and conceptualized this course. So basic, and we will see the operability. So we will see, analyze the different alternatives based on all these parameters. So we may have 5 different processes which can be used to produce the product. Now which one we must choose? So it is a multi criteria decision making process, because we have to satisfy the cost parameters also, we have to select the production method also, it must be easy to operate, it must be easy to maintain. Now there can be a production process which is very easy which is cost effective, but when we use that process we are not able to maintain. So dismantling becomes very difficult. So we have to see that how this combination of parameters, we have to analyze that how this combination of parameters must be selected, which production method must be selected, so that the product is easy to operate, product is easy to maintain, product is cost effective, product is easy to assemble, it is easy to inspect. So that all things are analyzed, and based on this analysis the selection is made. We select the best alternative. Then the basic engineering is done. Prepare a layout in exact scale, calculate strength of components, select proper cost effective material. So this cost effective material, we will see the importance of this when we talk about design for environment, that what is the focus in today's scenario, which type of materials we must select in order to make our product a sustainable product, a green product, an environment friendly product. So we will have 2 sessions on design for environment in the fag end of our course in the 8th week of our discussion. Once we have done the basic engineering for the product, we go to the detailed design. We prepare the detailed engineering drawing for the component. After that we go to the prototyping. If option is there, then prepare the prototype and test it. And for the prototyping we will have a discussion on the rapid prototyping technology in the 8th week again of our discussion. 8th week we will again come to rapid prototyping, that what is the concept of rapid prototyping and why we should do rapid prototyping, what are the various technologies that have been developed under the broad umbrella of rapid prototyping. Then the manufacturing, if the prototype is not made, then follow manufacturing steps and solve the manufacturing problems and assembly problems. Now this is very important, solve the manufacturing problems and the assembly problem. So if somebody has gone through this course, a learner of this course who has successfully completed this discussion will never face this problem at the manufacturing stage, because while designing the product only, the designer will take into account all the manufacturing problems that can come. He will take into account all the manufacturing guidelines that are there for a specific manufacturing process. Therefore there will be no problem when the product is going to the manufacturing stage. Similarly for assembly also there will be no problems, because during rapid prototyping we can make different types of parts and then try to assemble them before the product goes for the final assembly or the final manufacturing. So in rapid prototyping stage only we will be able to iron out all the problems, we will be able to remove all the problems, so that whatever design is finally being passed on to the manufacturing stage is fully well checked design, fully inspected design, so that there is no problem. So the overall objective of our course is to minimize, I think I can go to the extent of saying eliminate all these problems that creep up during the manufacturing stage. And once the product has been made successfully, we will go to operation, collect the feedback during actual operation of the new product. If any problem exists, try to provide design based solution, also implement lessons in the future design. So then the product development, if any modification can be done, implement the same in the next generation product. That is maybe a futuristic aspect, that once the product has been launched, it is being operated, it is being used, it is being consumed by the consumers, we must always strive for continuous improvement in our product design. So basically we have seen that these are the various steps for any generic product development cycle. Now coming on to the product analysis, which is also an important point. Many factors have to be analyzed in connection with the development and design of a product. Factors varying in character and complexity. Now what are these factors? Subsequently we will see. Factors affiliated with different fields in production and industrial engineering. So we will see industrial engineering aspects are also important when we are talking of product design. Production engineering aspects are also important, and in the beginning of today's session only I have told told that our course basically is going to provide an interface between the two. We are trying to design a product which is a soft engineering, we can say it is majorly taught in the industrial engineering topics. We are trying to use the manufacturing guidelines that are established in the production engineering courses. So basically it is trying to complement each other. We are trying to design the product keeping in mind all the knowledge that has been developed in the manufacturing engineering or production engineering courses. Now these are the some of the important factors that has to be taken into account. These are very well explained in a book written by Samuel Elian, that is Elements of Production Planning and Control. So first are the marketing aspects, product characteristics, economic analysis and the production aspects. So our major focus is on the production aspects, that when we are analyzing our product, we must take into account the production aspects, that how it is going to be manufactured, what are the processes that are going to be used for manufacturing the product. So this is the focus area of our product, but we must also know the overall product design cycle. So let us quickly focus on these 4 aspects. Now in marketing aspects, once the product is selected, then it is very important to know the marketability of the product. All further steps are dependent upon the demand for the proposed product and customer acceptability of the product. If there is no potential market, then it is a wasteful exercise to design and manufacture the product. It gives the answers to the following questions. Before going to the questions, let us now try to understand what we try to do in the marketing aspects. In marketing aspects, need analysis is done. We try to figure out that the product that we are trying to develop, who are going to be the users of this product, what is the market segment that we are targeting, how many users we target over the next 1 year, what is going to be the demand for this product, what is going to be the customer acceptability of this product. So all these things are finalized in the marketing stage only, and then we try to find out the answers to the questions like what will be the expected demand for the product, both the short term and the long term, whether the functions that are offered by the product are desirable and acceptable to the customers. That is basically a judgment about the customer acceptability of the product. Once it is established that yes, we have an idea and there is a need and requirement of this product in the market, we must be the first company to launch this product in the market, and thereby then we focus on the product characteristics. So first thing is finding out that we are moving in the right direction or not. If we launch this product is going to be successful, it is going to be a game changer, it is certainly required in the market. Once that is established, then we go to the next stage, product characteristics. In functional aspects, when the marketing possibilities have been explored and it has been established that the product is required, the functional scope of the product has to be carefully analyzed and properly defined. So I have already told, normally in functional analysis we focus on the concept of value engineering, and if it is possible we will try to have a course, maybe a 10-hour course on value engineering also. It is quite important course and is the need of the hour. So in value engineering we define the function of the product with the combination of verb and noun. So in verb and noun, normally we say that if we are talking about the watch, we can say the functional definition of the watch is show time. So verb may be show plus noun may be time. So we say show time. For maybe from the engineering component point of view, if we talk about the function of a shaft, so we can say transmit torque. So that is, in that way you can have, if we talk about the function of a fan, we can say circulate air. So based on that we try to do the functional analysis of the product, that the product that we are designing and developing, what is going to be the functional scope of the product, what is going to be achieved by the product. When the marketing possibilities have been explored, the functional scope of the product has to be carefully analyzed and properly defined. How we are going to define that? With the help of the verb and noun type of definition, very crisp definition. The definition of the objective itself rarely tells us much about the predicted functional scope, and therefore we need to be very crisp, precise, brief in defining the functional scope of our product. Then we go to the, let us take an example of a washing machine. Objective: to wash clothes. This does not state, however, how the washing should be carried out, whether the washing machine should be capable of heating the water prior to washing, whether rinsing or drying or both are to be done by the machine, and if so, by what method, and what should be the proportion be between automatic functioning and the manual supervision. So basically we can see that only the objective is specified to wash clothes, but all these other parameters, there is a question mark and there is no clarity. So functional analysis of this kind obviously affects the design of the machine, its complexity, its appearance and its price. So in functional analysis we will try to establish the complete scope of the product, that what is the complete functional scope of the product and what all functions we are targeting, what all functions we do not want to include in our product, and accordingly we will take the design to the next stage. Now product characteristics, the second point. Once we have identified the functional in the functional analysis that what we want our product to provide to the customer, why the customer is going to buy our product, what functions for the customer our product is going to satisfy. Once all that is known to us, we go to the operational aspects. Why? Because suppose we take the example of a washing machine. In a fully automatic machine, some of the homemakers may not be able to operate it, may not because of the limited knowledge, but because of the complexity of the operations. So when the functions become too large, the operations become too complex. So therefore we have to do a trade-off between the functional aspects and the operational aspects. We need to include more and more functions in our product, but at the same time we have to ensure that the operation of these functions also is easy, it is not difficult, it is not complicated. So the product is not only expected to perform its function, very clearly it is written, satisfactorily, but it should be easy to handle and operate at the customer's end only. And I have already taken an example of a washing machine, that it may be very functional, it may give us lot of functions, but sometimes we may not be able to use it because of the complexity that these functions bring along with them. So the product is used at different operational conditions and the customers vary with respect to skill and knowledge, and the designer's problem becomes complicated with the addition of more functions. So this is something which has to be addressed by the product designers. They have to do a trade-off between the functional and the operational aspects of the product. Then we talk about the durability and dependability aspects. So as the words are very self-explanatory, when we are designing a product we need to look at these two factors because these define the quality and reliability of the product. Durability refers to the length of the active life, very important, it is usually in terms of time. Durability refers to the time of the product under the given conditions or under the given conditions. That length of active life means the point up to which it performs its desired function satisfactorily. Dependability refers to the reliability with which the product serves its intended function. Thus quality of the product is directly proportional to the quality of the inputs, materials, men, etc., and the process of the manufacture. So again the importance of materials and manufacturing is coming into picture in defining the quality of the product, defining the dependability and reliability of our product, defining the durability of our product, and therefore our target is on these two important aspects related to the product design process. Thus it is a function of cost. So basically the cost is also going to be affected when we are putting a certain degree of durability and dependability in our product. So this also has to be analyzed during the product design process. Then coming on to the aesthetic aspects, we have seen functional aspects, we have seen operational aspects, we have seen durability and dependability, and the last are the aesthetic aspects or the aesthetic characteristics. It refers to the external look good aspect of the product, and it is concerned with molding the final shape around the basic skeleton. Now the basic skeleton is what? Basic skeleton is going to satisfy the functional requirement, and then the product must look good also, and for that we are going to incorporate certain degree of aesthetic aspects in the product. It helps the sales function of the product by attracting the customers and creating the first impression about the product. It is self-explanatory. A good looking product will automatically be sought for by the customers. Designers use a variety of tools to build aesthetic characteristics into the products, such as use of special material, use of color, texture, packaging. So all these are important factors that affect the aesthetics of a product. So basically we have seen that there are, at the initial stage, marketing aspects taken into account, then the product characteristics. Product characteristics further include the functional aspects, they include the operational aspects, they include the durability and dependability aspects, they include the aesthetic aspects, and then we come to the economic analysis, the third important category of product analysis. In economic analysis, an economic analysis is the key to the management decision in the product design policy. Now economic, because the company is doing business to make profit, so they have to ensure that the profit is accrued when the business function is accomplished or a new product is launched in the market. So in economic analysis, answers to the following are found out. What will be the amount of investment needed to manufacture the new product, means what will be the financial input required, then what are the estimated production costs, what will be the expected profit margin, whether the prices proposed to be offered by the company are competitive in reference to the other products or the products of the other company. So from economic analysis point of view, our focus will be to find out whether we will be able to make the profit, what are our inputs in terms of our expenditure or investment, and what is the output that we desire in terms of revenue. So tools in economic analysis, we can think of the break even analysis. We can see here, this is the break even point which is mentioned here, where the total revenue curve is cutting the total cost curve. This is the point, and this is the break even volume or break even quantity. The 3 S's, that is the standardization, simplification and specialization, must be taken into account. We cannot go into the details of these 3 aspects, but basically we must try to use the standard material, standard processes if we want to be competitive and if we want to be profit making. So the break even analysis will help us to fine tune our decision making, so that when we will start to make profit, we can very easily establish from the break even analysis. And this is the most important aspect that is relevant to our course. Maybe I will again write here as the most important aspect, because our target is manufacturing guidelines for product design, and this is what we are going to talk about in our subsequent sessions. So the design will be converted into the production shop, in the production shop, where it will be transformed into a physical product. So our transformation and what are the product design guidelines that we must take into account when we are designing our product, especially with the manufacturing perspective. That is what is the target of our course, to be offered to the customer. So this physical product that is to be offered to the customer, when we are designing this product, what are the production aspects that must be taken into account, that is our target. So successful transformation of design into a saleable product is a challenge to the organization. In order to saleable, I would like to add profitable also. It may be sold in the market, but if it is not giving profit to the organization, I think it is of no use. So the product that we are designing, we must try to design it in such a way that it is easy to manufacture, it is easy to assemble, and turns out to be a profitable product in the market. And for that we sometimes use the design for manufacturing, design for assembly, and DFX. So X can be changed by reliability, it can be changed to cost also, then it can be changed to manufacturing and assembly, it can be changed to production. So, our target basically is to focus on the production aspects during the product design process and learn about the various production guidelines for the various processes that must be kept in mind while we are designing the product. So, we have to analyze the product from various perspectives, we have to analyze the product from the marketing perspective, we have to analyze the product from the economic perspective, we have to analyze the product from the functional perspective, operational perspective, but most importantly we have to analyze the product from the manufacturing perspective, that when the product is going to be converted into the final form, or when the raw materials are going to be converted into the final product, or they have to be joined together, or the product have to be assembled, what are the various guidelines that we must keep in mind, and that is the target of our course. So, with this I conclude the today's session. I think the first session has been slightly stretched, but the basic concept was to highlight the importance of the course as well as to highlight the importance of product design and to learn about the various steps involved in the product design process as well as the product analysis. In our subsequent sessions during the first week, we will try to focus on the basic aspects of the other key catchword or the keyword in our title, that is the manufacturing guidelines. So, the title is manufacturing guidelines for product design. So, product design we have covered today, manufacturing guidelines we will try to cover up maybe in the subsequent sessions in this week. Thank you.